Shalom Uvracha. My name is Rabbi Joseph Beda from Congregation B'nai Yitzchak. It's a well-known rabbinical tradition that Abraham Avinu passed 10 tests that Hashem placed before him. What's not so clear, though, is what exactly are those 10 tests? And a variety of rabbinic commentaries seek to make lists, and almost all of them pick Akedat Yitzchak at the end of last week's parasha as the climax of Abraham's life, the 10th, the ultimate test. And it makes sense. But one opinion says actually the 10th test happens in this week's parasha when Abraham has to purchase land in order to bury Sarah. That's his 10th test. And the question should jump right off the page. You have to be thinking, hey, wait a second. How could that be the 10th test? Everyone else has got it right. The 10th test has to be the hardest and most difficult one. And it has to be, therefore, Akedat Yitzchak. But perhaps that's exactly the message of the 10th test being the hardest one, by it not being Akedat Yitzchak. You see, Akedat Yitzchak was obviously a difficult test. Abraham knew he'd have to garner all his strength, all of his convictions, all of his energy. He'd have to put his every ounce into it to see, could he do it? Okay, I could do it. But once he did that, then Abraham says, I reached the peak. And that's the difficulty of the next test. To wake up the next day and have to take a lesser test. Come on, I showed you already, I could do it. Put your best into that, not so easy. But that's the real reason why it's such a hard test. It was deceptively difficult. It was deceptive in the sense that you could rest easy on your laurels. You could say, I don't have to put all my energies into it. I could do this, no problem. That's a really hard test. Because when you start thinking that way, that's when you're not at your best. And it's a beautiful lesson that we can learn from Abraham Avinu, is that tests come every single day. And we shouldn't just think that it's the big, huge ones that count, because that's a failure. We have to understand that every test that comes our way, everything requires our best effort, our best foot forward, because we never know which one is our 10th test. Shabbat Shalom.